Hi, and welcome to this week's I Thrive Ideas. For those of you who know me, my favorite financial writer is Morgan Housel. I think a few of his ideas apply well to today, so I thought I'd share a few of them with you. His first idea: most people can afford to not be a great investor, but they can't afford to be a bad investor. If you owned a well-constructed portfolio, but picked an underperforming large cap value fund, you'll likely still be okay. If you owned a well-constructed portfolio and sold out of it when the market was down 30%, only to get back in when things get better, you've probably taken a risk you can't afford. Which leads into his next quote: emotions can override any level of intelligence. You built your portfolio or your plan when you were in a calm, level-headed state of mind. You were at the peak of your intellectual capacity, if you will. Now you've seen losses in your portfolio, and what causes more emotion than money? Politics, maybe? Anyway, emotions can lead you to make decisions you would never make with a clear head, which leads to his next quote: you should obsess over risks that do permanent damage and care little about risks that do temporary damage, but the opposite is more common. We've always lived through bull markets and bear markets. Historically, those bear markets have done temporary harm while eventually transitioning back to bull markets. Yet, we often obsess over the risks of bear markets while discarding the risk of our assets not growing to keep up with our long-term plans. Finally, in that same vein, his last quote: a big takeaway from economic history is that the past wasn't as good as you remember, the present isn't as bad as you think, and the future will be better than you anticipate. Why do I personally remember the 80s fondly and fret about now? Probably because I was a kid in the 80s and had a lot less to worry about. The present feels worse than it is because we're living through it. And that feeling about today influences how we view the future. And finally, remember, a lot of financial debates are just people with different time horizons talking over each other. You developed a plan for you and your goals, which may be vastly different than your neighbors or your uncles or the guy on TV or the day trader next door. So stick to your plan. Remember, the rest is just noise. Thanks for listening.